Hi, my name is Kaylani, and today I'm going to be talking to you about AI. This is for my computer science project, so let's get it done. Cue fancy introduction music. As you can see on our board here, this is the table of contents of what we'll be covering today in this project, and then for some parts I'll also have slides. First, let's start with a quick overview. What is AI? Well, AI, or artificial intelligence, is the simulation of human intelligence processed by machines, specifically computer systems, because we're talking about it in computer science. There's a lot of confusion about the different types of AI, so I'm going to give you a brief overview of 7 types of AI. These 7 types of AI are found by, if you would look at the board here, based on the capabilities of the AI and the functionality of the AI. The first type of AI I'm going to talk about is AI based on capabilities. The first one is artificial narrow intelligence, also known as ANI. ANI is designed to perform very narrow set of tasks and only work in a certain set of parameters. What that basically means is that it can't generalize, and that's why it's considered a weak AI, but it's also one of the most common AI used today. Some of these will include Siri, Google Assistant, or generative AI like ChatGPT or like OpenAI, that type of thing. The next one we're going to talk about is artificial or general intelligence. Also known as AGI. As you can see, there's a pattern here. The strength of this AI is like medium. It's considered a bit human-like. It thinks like us. AGI machines have human intelligence, so they can perform intellectual tasks much like a human does. They currently don't exist in the real world. This is all hypothetical for this, though. Some real-world applications of this would include like AI creative task solvers, or autonomous like thinking robots, or like human decision-based systems. So yeah. And then our final one for capabilities is artificial superintelligence, also known as ASI. ASI, for strength, I say this is mythical/hypothetical because we are nowhere near able to recreate this. This AI would be able to surpass human intelligence, creativity, and decision making, and currently we just don't have the means to do that. Some real world examples of what this could look like would be an autonomous AI that could solve its own problems and like drive scientific advancement itself without the need for human input. Now we're going to talk about AI based on functionality. So this is where we get kind of like weird and complicated to understand, because some of these do relate to the capabilities one, but it's like a subgroup, but at the same time not. That's what makes talking about AI types so weird, because a lot of them overlap. But we're going to get into it anyway. So the first type is reactive machines. This is the most basic form of AI. Basically, these machines are designed to take in specific inputs and respond with pre-programmed actions or answers. They do not have a memory of their past actions, so you couldn't use them in, like, for example, a simulation where you want the AI to learn and adapt to like problems or situations. You wouldn't use that for this. It doesn't have a memory for that. An example of this is actually IBM's Deep Blue chess playing computer. And another example could be situations where calculations have to be done fast, but the machine doesn't necessarily have to remember those calculations to, learn from the information it obtains. The next one we're going to talk about is limited memory AI. I say the strength is moderate because it's like a bit better than reactive machines. Basically, this AI holds memories from past experiences and uses it to make better decisions. It has a very short-term memory though, so it's not like any like long-term thing you would be constantly using to constantly improve a program. Some real-world applications of this includes self-driving cars and bank fraud detection systems, which are things we have today. So that's pretty cool. The next one we're going to talk about is theory of the mind AI. This strength of this one is like theoretical / research, because it's all in the research phase. We haven't actually had like it come to fruition yet. This AI focuses on interpreting humans' thoughts and feelings, and some real world things we could do with this is use AI personal therapists or like emotionally intelligent chatbots, because all around the world, we have a loneliness epidemic, and maybe these chatbots could really help some people out. So, finally, we have self-aware AI. This is what I like to call strength as final boss, mythical, self-conscious level. This does not exist yet, but if it did, this level of AI would be able to have their own beliefs, their own thoughts, their own feelings, and their own self-driven desires. So they would want things. They would have their own needs and wants. And an example of this would be like an AI government, of like governing AI, which for some people might be scary to think about, but you think about it, we're kind of making human computers. So wouldn't it make sense that they eventually get to like a human state? That's just something to think about, I think. Anyway, on to the next thing. Now we get into the personal part of this project. What do I think about AI? Well, for the sake of this project, we either had to take a 100% for or 100% against this. And if you couldn't tell already, I chose 100% for AI. And I'll get into it. But specifically, my opinion is that AI should be used continuously. It should continue to be used, and it should be continued to be developed for the betterment of technology and human interaction. Now, my first reason for why I think AI should be continued to be used is because AI makes work more effective and productive. This quote from Meredith Summers, quoting a study done by Harvard Business College, states, "Generative AI can improve a highly skilled worker's performance by nearly 40% compared with workers who don't use it." So, what they mean by highly skilled is when Harvard Business College conducted this study, they found that individuals who were less skilled in their workforce were less likely to do well with the AI. In fact, they were relying on the AI to do their job, and they weren't necessarily increasing their productivity. I mean, in like a sense of them getting their work done, they were, but they weren't necessarily using their skills. This led to some interesting conclusions in the thing. Specifically, the thing I find most interesting is they have this image, insert image somewhere. This image shows that there's two different AI behavior styles they found. One was a cyborg behavior and one was a centaur behavior. And I'll touch on this a little bit later in my counter defense / rebuttal. But these two distinct personalities really shape how a person's going to interact with AI. A centaur behavior is more likely to use AI and let AI handle like automated tasks, right? And they handle the creative and personal stuff themselves. Whereas a cyborg type AI is more likely to use AI to prompt questions or things like that. And in the sense, like you plug in, if I had 1 million dogs and 200 cats, what should I do regarding blah, 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 that type of thing. They're prompting the AI to give a response so they don't have to come up with a response. So I think that these two different approaches really shows that as long as people who are highly skilled and dedicated to their work are using AI for more automated tasks that they don't need to spend time on, it increases worker productivity, which is shown by the 40% of skilled workers who did increase their productivity. Reason 2 why I think that AI is beneficial and we should keep using it is that it reduces human error and judgment in health spaces. So, here we go. In the human health industry, there's a lot of biases, whether they can be unknown or not. For example, a doctor will be working in an office or in the ER, and they're diagnosing hundreds of patients at a time. They're diagnosing patients often working 24 to 48-hour shifts, and that can leave a lot of room for human error. If we introduce AI into these processes, specifically ANI or future AGI technology, we can help improve our current healthcare system, as these tools could be used to run patients' diagnostic screenings for them, so they don't need to spend as much time there, and they can be working specifically with patients who need immediate care. This will also help with personalized medication needs, as the patient can directly explain what's going on with them, and then they can get personalized medication suggested by the AI that a doctor could check over, or something along those lines. We also see the ways that AI has been done to help the healthcare system in the form of robotic arms or tools. For many intricate surgeries nowadays, there's actually people controlling robotic arms that go into the surgery field of the human person, and they conduct the surgery for them, and this is a form of AI. And if we circle back to another topic, which, if you would remember, is one of our types of AI, called theory of mind AI, I said that one of the examples of how we could use this in the real world is for personalized therapy sessions. And to touch on that a little bit more, these personalized therapy sessions could be for people who can't afford to see a physical therapist or go online to see an in-person therapist, or more importantly, there are many people who just don't feel comfortable talking to another human being at all about their personal things. So by having this personalized AI for them specifically, generated for them to cater to them, they could get help more directly that way without having to, feel the stress of that. So there's a lot of ways AI can be implemented into our healthcare systems, and already has, to make them more efficient, effective, and timely. Now we get into an interesting part of this project. I have to do a little rebuttal for you guys, but for a rebuttal, you need a counter argument. So, there are many different concerns that comes with AI, and frankly, I do not have the time to cover all of them. So I'm going to cover one that hits close to my heart, which is the concern that AI, specifically generative AI like ChatGPT, will encourage students and business professionals, or people in general, to become less skilled at their job, or simply just cheat their way to their job, as they rely on AI to do their jobs for them, in the sense that it would be providing them the information. So, generative AI is, at the end of the day, a tool. There are people who abuse tools, and then there are people who use tools for, the purpose they were intended. If a student is using AI to write their entire essay, then for the whole school year and never do any work, that would be a problem. Understandable. However, if a student doesn't understand what's going on in their classes, they need a review, they say, ChatGPT, tell me, how do I find the square root of it? Whatever, or ChatGPT or whatever they're using. Tell me how I would create a buffer solution, or how I would do the math for a buffer solution. And then they're taking notes on what the AI is telling them. Is that not a form of learning? The main point I want to bring up here is kind of circling back to what the Harvard Business College study said about AI behavioral styles. There's the cyborgs who will use AI and use them on everything, not really, doing anything much, but prompting the AI to do a whole list of things for them. And then there's the centaur behaviors. They're people who use the AI to help them learn, to help them understand concepts. Because at the end of the day, those types of things in academic spaces are an information pool, and that's what they should be used for, information pooling.
Okay, so towards the end there, I end up talking a lot about my rebuttal, and it kind of ties into my conclusion, so I'm going to wrap it up here. Basically, it's all about balance, and balance with technology is learning how to balance using our technology for good and using our technology for bad. Just because we have people that are using the technology for bad or not good things, that does not mean that the cons outweigh the pros. Instead, I feel like in the case of AI, the pros most certainly outweigh the cons. In conclusion, AI has been around since the 1950s, and with modern day technology and a multitude of advancements in this field, it has become a quite divisive topic, whether it be how education spaces view AI, to how the world, or even to how the world views it. There's one takeaway I want you to have. The problem with AI has never been the technology. It's never the technology. It is always how we use the technology. Okay, voice over me again. I ended up yapping again too much. So basically that was my works cited page, and everything in brackets corresponds with the number that's on the works cited page. If this goes on YouTube, please give me some grace for this project, as I couldn't cover everything in this video. And if you're Mr. Sprague, this was a fun project, please give me an A.